right? So while I can't show you that it works because I don't have the items needed to show you that it works, I can tell you that that's going to work because it's going to find the pipes on both ends of the string here, where I put it there and I put it there, and as you see, the same one that ends the piece of rat fur starts the bat wing, and it has one at the end as well. So that's one example of a way that you could do it. All right. So now we have ourselves an exclusion list, and it's not going to do anything with the items if they're on that exclusion list. So what do we need to do next? Well, we need to process what to do if they're not on the exclusion list, and that's going to be our else, and then copy this bit X. I need to parcel the item. So something that we haven't handled yet is who to send it to, right? So I can set up another subroutine down here, right? So sub send item, and then we can call that what items, or we'll say string type. So we'll say what type of items, and then we can say string receiver. REC for E except after C, whatever. Anyway, so go down here /return. All right, you always need a return for every sub you create, so we're just going to arbitrarily create a subroutine, and we're going to call it send items. We may or may not want to use this as a command, and let's see, what do we want to put in here? So in order to send the item, I have to have already targeted the vendor, opened the vendor, clicked on the parcel button at that point, okay? And then all my bags get opened, and then it's going to go through and check the bag. And when it finds the trade skill item, then it's going to want to send it, assuming it's not on the exclusion list. So how would we do that? All right, so we've confirmed it's not on the exclusion list. All we need to do now is go through the motions of sending it. Type. I don't need the type. I already know what. I just want to know who to send it to, right? So then I want to say, I'm probably going to do some notifying here. In fact, I'm going to grab some code from another macro. So give me a second and pull this off screen for a moment while I pull that macro up. And it's going to be the bazaar macros, bazaar 2 specifically. SAR had some code in ParcelBot.mac, and that was for the function type in and clear chat, and I like those so much that I'm going to keep using them repeatedly in just about everything I do, because I'm going to need to type in information and I'm going to need to clear information on a regular basis. So I'm going to grab these and I'll explain what they do so that you understand, but I'm still going to use them. All right, so for the type in routine here, basically what it's going to be doing is it's going to be typing into a specific box for you. And it's going through um, a list of characters. So the end string, which is listed here, again, if we go back to something I may or may not have said before, when you put a parameter inside of a subroutine, you don't have to tell it the type. The type is assumed to be a string. But for the sake of consistency, we'll add the word string to the end. And the end string is just a string that you want it to type. So then you're declaring the character string local, which you're going to use later, and then they're declaring the I variable so they can use a for loop. Now in their for loop, they go from 1 to the end string dot length. So think of some string as a string here, and I'll bring it more center screen for my safety. Hurts my eyes, look on the very edge. So some string, the items contained in the quotes here, that's the end string. If I was to call type in. Okay? All right, so some string becomes this. All right, when you call that as a variable, the end string's length is the number of characters in between the quotes. All right, and then we're going to var set this variable that we declared up here, which is a character, to the middle character, right? So the first one is the index location. So if it's 1, then the index at 1 is S. The index at 2 is O. The index at 3 is M. Okay? And then the second thing that you're passing to the mid command or the mid member is how many you want to choose. So it says 1, so it's only selecting one character starting at the index that's provided. So again, if the 1 was a 3 and the index was 2, it would start at the second index and get the 3 characters from there. So it would be OME. All right, and that's effectively what this is doing, is getting each character from the string and then sending it as a key press. In this particular case, if there was no link to the character, then it's going to type in a spacebar. Otherwise, it's going to send that to the chat window as a key press. All right, so that's typing it in. And in the case of the clear chat, it's saying that while the window Bazaar search window, which we're going to change this shit because we need it to do it to a different window, .child.text has a length, then we're going to press the control key and then hit the home key in the chat bar. All right, and that's going to highlight everything. And then we're going to control and shift key and then press the delete key in the chat bar, and that's going to delete everything that's highlighted. All right, so this is useful for typing things into a chat window. All right, and we are definitely going to be using those, right? But first, I need to fix this. So I'm going to say string parent and then string child. And the reason I want to do that is so that I can pass it as a variable. So clear chat parent, and then over here child. And that is the parent window and then one of its children window. So I'm going to pass those as variables. So for send items, who's going to receive it? Then the first thing I want to do is let's call clear chat, and then what window am I wanting to do that to? I need to do it to this merchant window, MERCHANTWND. So we'll say MERCHANTWND, and then I need to tell it the child window that I'm wanting to clear. Looks like first things we need to do is click on an item. So we'll click on cancel magic. Okay. And then I can get the name of the box that I want to clear. So enter name of the person you want to send the parcel to. So that's the box I want to clear, and that is MW underscore send underscore to underscore edit. Hopefully you'll be able to read that. And as it was, I can't exactly see that while I'm in my window here, but where'd it go? MW underscore send to edit. So MW underscore send underscore to underscore edit. Not that they're being difficult or anything. So, but before I can clear the chat, I first have to click on the item. So we know who the receiver is, but I need to know what item I'm doing. So how would I click on the item? I need to click on the item before I go to the send items subroutine. So back up here, if it's not found, right, on the exclusion list, then I need to send it. In order to send it, I need to click on it. So I need to /notify what do I need to notify? Let's grab the me.inventory stuff, copy / notify. I need the parent window, so me.inventory I. So there's going to be some math done here, more than likely. So I need to notify pack something. All right, so we start at index 23. We're going to have to do a math.calc. Let's say the pack, and then it would be the number of the pack from 1 to 10. But I'm going to say I minus 23. And that should give me the pack number, right? Or is it 22 to get 1? We'll figure it out. Anyway, we're going to use something called math. I don't know if any of y'all have ever used that in MacroQuest before. It's math.calc. All right, open bracket, square bracket that is. And then you input your equation, and then you close your square bracket, right? So in order to do that, I can verify that this is going to return what I want. So if I am at slot 23 and I subtract 23, it's actually going to give me 0. So I believe this is 22. And when you echo that information, probably not in that box, it's going to return 1. But you see how it's got the decimal? I want it to be an integer. So immediately following your calculation and before your closing bracket, curly bracket, I need dot int, and that's going to make it an integer instead of a floating value or double, whichever you prefer to call it. All right, so now it's returning 1 instead of 1.00, which is what I want. All right, so I know that that works. I can come back up here and I can say math.calc I minus 22 and put my .int in there. Get my junk out of the way here. All right, so we're going to notify that pack. Let's go back and look at our notify command, because I left it up for a reason, because I don't always remember everything as far as notifying items and such of that nature. So random people getting achievements. Let's see if we got an example. Tracking window, trade skill window. No, I don't see what I'm looking for. Let me go to this other one. See if we can just find, there we go, slot names. Okay, so this applies to the item notify command. You should use .item slot and item slot 2 instead of inventory slot. The reason for this is they work without having to open the bags. Okay, well I'm going to open the bags anyway because I need to read information and I like to see what I'm doing. It's preferred, but meh. To each their own, right? All right, so let's notify the pack number. Can we notify the pack number or something? Let's just notify pack 10. Pack 1. Slot 1. Left mouse up. Can I pick something up? So it's not going to let me send that. Let's do the item notify. This seemed to have been the preferred method here. They got item notify and pack. So this is what pack it is. So it's me.inventory 32, item 1, item slot. minus 22 dot int. Okay. I don't think you need the damn item number. And then item slot 2. So you do the regular item slot and then item slot 2 in the second one and then add 1 and dot in and all this shit. That just seems excessive, realistically. And that's item notify in pack. So I already know what pack I needed. And then this bit's a little more interesting. I'm starting at 23 and I'm going to 32. Then I'll do me.inventory i.item j pretty sure I always used inventory slot and it worked out for me. Left mouse up. Well, that wasn't weird. Alright, so for that we'll left click on it. So, and if I was to manually punch some crazy shit like that in, and maybe I won't crash the game. I'll say 23 because that's what it's going to start as. And then me.inventory again. '23 item 1 dot inventory slot left mouse up. See if I can break it. Hey, it didn't crash at least. Did it select it? Select something different. So that's not working. I occasionally have these scratch your head moments, and you know, I end up going over things. So let's try it with the exact method that's shown in the wiki, because they want me to use item slot 2. This is a really weird way to handle that, I think. One would think. So let's copy that and put it in this second bit here. Alright, so it wants me to do all this crazy shit. I need this to be an I, and I need this to be my J. And it wants item slot 2 plus 1 dot int. That's really weird. So let's try that. End. Copy. Go back into here. And we're going to start backtracking. Item 1. Slot 23. So that should be pack 1. Item slot 2 would be the first pack, item 1. Alright, so now it's clicking on it. That seems like a really unnecessary way to do the shit, but hey, whatever works. Alright, so that crazy shit there is the command I need to pass it. Just to click on the item. Seems a bit excessive to me. If I say pack 10, I should just be able to say the next option would be 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. and select the item inside that pack based on its location. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Not the case. Whatever. Doesn't hurt my feelings any. All I need to do is click on it. And now that it's handled, I can just go to the next line. So there. Now that I've clicked on it, what else do I need to do? Now I'm going to have to click in here, right? So that's where I'm going to have to call send items / call send items. And then send items has a receiver's name. Alright, so we can put the receiver's name here. Just manually type something in for now. Alright, so we're going to pass is not valid. So it should call clear chat. But first I have to notify what chat it's to clear, don't I? Oh wait, no, I've coded it in directly, so it's clearing the merchant window MW send to edit. Excuse me. Alright, now to type in, do I have to notify? I think I do. I think I do need to. Fuck it, let's make sure we're at least in the right box. So I want to notify merchant wind MW send to edit. MW underscore send to edit. Left mouse up just to make sure I click in it, and then delay 5 to give it an opportunity to process that information. Alright, so we've told it to click in the box, and we delay for half a second, and then we clear that window. And now what do we need to do? We need to type into the window. So it's got built-in delays into the clear chat, so I don't need to create a new one. So get rid of this dumb code that I am not using. Now I need to call type in, and I need to put in that receiver's name, and I need to put it in quotes when I'm passing the variable. Otherwise it'll only get the first word if there is more than one. Shouldn't be, because these are all player names, right? So it shouldn't matter, but we're just going to keep doing that anyway. Clicking on my hotkeys. Let's see. Alright, so let's test. Did I put the call in there? Call send items. Okay, so it's probably going to be a while before I get there with that way. Alright, so it's going through, it's typing in the name, doing all that good stuff, and then it's ending the macro. Alright, which is what we expected to happen. Alright. Once the name's typed in, we have some other things to do. So let's open up our window again, click on parcels, click an item. Alright, so now it keeps the name in there, so that's why we want to clear before we ever type into it every time. And then we need to hit our send button. So that's the MW send button. Alright, once we called the type in, does the type in have built-in delays? It does not, but we're going to add one / delay 5 just for giggles. And then we're going to notify merchant window MW send button. Is it one word? Is there a space? What is it? Send underscore button. Alright, so once we send something, we're going to have to delay for some period of time until it is sent. And again, I'm going to pull off screen. I have a macro that I did previously that used an INI to do parcels. that I called ParcelBot, and I used an event in this ParcelBot to send the items. So event sent up here, as you see at the very top. So we're going to use that event again. So copy. So somebody tells you, I will deliver, and then some more information. And that's what we're going to want over here for our parcel bot, is we're going to use an event to catch incoming text where this NPC is going to tell you, I will deliver, and then he'll say what item it is, right? So in the event that that vendor tells you, I will deliver, then it will fire an event and goes back to this parcel bot. If you come over here, I got event sent, and all it does is it sets a value to true, right? So that's literally its only job. It receives a text, it says, hey, that item sent, and that lets it know it can start processing the next item. So I go back to Parcel.mac, come up here, and I am going to wait for sent as a loop, and if not sent, then /go to wait for sent. And here I need to /do events. Alright, so this will always wait forever until the item gets sent. Now that could cause issues, so you may also want to create a timer. So we also want to give it a delay. We'll say half a second in between each check to see if it's sent, to give it an opportunity to register. And sent is a variable that I created over here. So I'm going to need to do the same thing over here. Slash, let's see, non-user edited variables, hands off. So we need to declare sent. And if we go back down to our event, which I haven't even pasted in, have a var set sent true, so that's a boolean. So I can come back up here and I can say declare sent bool outer false. And I want it to start out false because it shouldn't say that I've already sent something as soon as the macro loads. Right? So we're going to make that say it's false, and then we're going to say directly after it's checked to be sent, if it is sent, then it's not going to go to the wait for sent. Then I'm going to say to var set it back to false, and that's going to reset the value, and that way it's going to continue going through the loop. It's going to grab the next item it wants to send, it's going to notify to click on the item, it's going to call send items, which is going to do all this stuff, and then when it gets to wait for sent again, it's already false, and it's not just going to assume that all the items have already been sent. So you have to reset that after it's true to let it know, okay, I'm done checking that item, go ahead and reset it. So that's what I've done there. Alright, so now that I've gotten that taken care of, let's get some of my blank spaces out of the way here. Alright, so I'm going to say that the item has already been sent. So-and-so tells you I will deliver. Now what happens if we run our macro? Oh, did I forget to notify something? I didn't tell it how to notify. So yeah, I gotta have that left mouse up in there. So let's say we're done with that again. Alright, so it looks like we ran into another issue. We hit the sent button and now we're waiting for it to send. the problem is there's a quantity window. Um, so do I want to set a quantity? Do I care what the quantity is? Well, in theory, if you're sending all of this item, then you don't really care what the quantity is. You want the quantity to be max, all right? But luckily for us, my MQ2 HUD allows me to highlight over the top of this window and find out what it's called, and that is the quantity window. So I can say, let me clean some of this up so I can share the screen here with it. All right, so after I notify it, I need to see, what do we need to know? Slash notify, or do we want to get a value? Let's see if we can get a value. Let's try to echo the value of that currently open quantity window in that box. So slash echo window quantity WND close dot child QTYW underscore slider input dot text. Oh, look, so we can get the value. But realistically, we don't really care what the value is, do we? Do we want to make sure it's maxed? And the maximum stack is 1,000, right? I think it is. Should be 1,000. So we can just always notify it to set it to the maximum. And to do that, we can go back and I can show you the wiki. Go back to my notify, and actually the example is exactly what we're going to be using it for. It's the notify quantity window, the quantity underscore slider, new value, and then the number you want to set it to. The new value is not something that I've used in a tutorial yet, but basically all you're doing is you're notifying that slider of a new value and then what the value of that new value is. So it changes the value in control name to number. Okay, so I'm just going to actually copy it directly out of the wiki. I was going to do it manually. So what new value do we want to give it? We want to give it 1,000. After we notify, though, we need to delay some arbitrary values, say half a second. That'll give this quantity window an opportunity to pop up, right? And then we can say if window quantity window dot child QTYW slider I don't even need to know if the slider is available. I just need dot open. So I only need the parent window. So only if the slider window opens do I want to X and notify it to set the value to 1,000. And then delay 5 slash notify the quantity window send button. That was supposed to go down here. Okay, so after I type in the information, no, I was right the first time, my fault. After I type in the information, I want to hit the send button, and then if the window or the quantity window opens, then I need to notify that to set the value to 1,000, which will just set it to the max of whatever you have, and then wait a second, and then I want to notify that quantity window the accept button. So what is the name of the accept button? It's QTYW underscore accept underscore button. So QT YW underscore accept underscore button, left mouse up. All right, and once I click on that, they're off. Okay, so that's more or less what I was going for. As you can see, I still have grubs. So let's end this macro so that we can run the new code, save, and test it again. So Mac parcel. All right, so it's just gonna keep sending stuff. Now it's ended. So we know that all of our functions are currently working. It makes sure that we're in range of the vendor, right? So let's make sure that works. Um, so Mac parcel says I'm not close enough to the vendor and it wants me to move closer. It doesn't target him or anything. It just checks to see if I'm close. I'm still not close enough. And then it opens him. It's going to go through all my things, and then it's going to end because I don't have any more trade skill items to send. So I'm sending them to myself so I can retrieve these items. Let's just retrieve all. Right? All right, so we re-retrieved everything. Let's see. Let's buy some other random crap. That's a trade skill item, right? Tuft of gray wolf fur. That can be used in trade skills. Let's buy one of those. Yeah, that can be used. Just buy a whole bunch of random stuff here. Let's get some grapes. Alright, so now I have like small quantities of random items, and I can slash Mac parcel. Excuse me. Alright, so we can see the piece of rat fur, and, well, I put Batwing, I thought. Didn't we have Batwing on there? Sent the Batwing. Oh, I said Batwings with an S. I was trying to be plural about it, but see, a little mistake like that, and off went an item. You got to be careful. All right, so it's just going through and it's finding any trade skill item and it's firing it away. All right, so we got it sending the items. Let's go into our parcels here and retrieve all. We're going to grab all our stuff again. All right, done. All right, so the idea was to have this run on a main loop. And we can do that. And all of that ran by calling containers, and then everything freaked out from there. It went somewhere and did stuff, right? So I don't think containers is the appropriate name for that per se. Oh, let's send items. What would be a better name? I got 6 viewers right now. Anybody want to give me a better name than containers? I mean, it doesn't hurt one way or another. I just think it would be easier to see that as what, well, I mean, I can go through the containers. Yeah, I guess, in a way it does make sense. And then there's a separate one that specifically sends items. All right, no recommendations. All right. So I guess it just stays that. But now I want to make it a command because I wanted this to run into a loop. And in order to make it a command, I'm going to make another sub, and I'm going to call it check bind. And it's going to be completely freaking empty, right? So this bind, or this sub is left empty on purpose. Do not remove bind checks. Calls to check bind from macro. All right, and the reason why we just made a blank sub and then put a note in there to tell people not to delete it is because of the way binds work. If I go into a loop and I never call the stack, I will never call a bind. But if I call a blank sub inside of a loop, all right, would be it a while loop or a for loop that's going to hold me hostage for a minute, then it's going to receive those because it'll call the stack repeatedly and check to see what's on top. And if it finds it, it'll pop that off and grab your bind, right? So that's when we come down here and we say bind. Let's say, I don't know, what do we want to call this? We'll call this parcel command and slash send items. And then after send items will be our parameters. So we got bind parcel command. So you'll want to copy that, go down to the bottom here, and we're going to add a new sub and call it bind underscore parcel command. All right, and we're going to have some variables passed, but first let's get our return statement in there. All right, we got the parcel command. What do we want to do? That's the one we want to send the type. And if we send a type, then we should also say recipient or something to that effect. And as you recall, I don't have to say that these are strings, it's just known. So if no type.length go. All right, so we're just going to do some checks in there that are for debugging primarily because I should be the only one calling, or actually no, when this is issued as a command, it's going to be the user's error, not mine. So if no type.length, you failed to provide any parameters. The options are, and as programmers, we get to make up the options. So echo, what do we want one to be? Trade skills. Echo, collectible. Let's find that word in my data.ini real quick. Oh, it's already there. All right, so collectible. How is it in two places, 130 and 139? That's interesting. Might be an issue in the item TLO. So collectible was correct. All right. I'm thinking about how to handle this command as a whole because you can't expect a user to type in collectible and ensure it starts with a capital letter, because up here we did a check and the check was for .trade skills, which is why I specified that it needed to have the S at the end, is because I need it to have the S at the end in order for it to go here, because I plan on sending it to containers as a variable. Okay. which I'm going to create now after I do some error checking. So if no recipient dot length. So if there is no link to the recipient, echo you failed to provide a second parameter for the recipient slash echo IE slash, what did we say the command was? Send items, trade skills, super warrior. So that of course assumes super warrior is a valid player character target or recipient. Alright, and what we need to do is take out the call to containers from this main loop and instead put our call to check bind and then re-enter or remove the comment so that literally the only thing that's going to happen is it's going to call this freaking check bind. And the only time the macro should do anything is when the user issues the command /send items. Right? And what you can do here is, so if there is a type and if there is a recipient, then what do I want to do? Then I want to declare declare type of parcel, string local, and we're going to leave that blank for a second. And the reason I'm going to leave that blank because I want to process what type is. So if type dot equals trade skill or type dot equal trade skills. Now I'm going to use both of them and that'll remove my requirement here. Because then I can say if the type is either trade skill or trade skill, then I want to var set type of parcel to trade skills. And you'll notice that I capitalized it and I put the S on it. So I don't have to depend on the user to do that, right? Then I'm going to say if, actually I don't even need to check the recipient. You're just going to have to assume they are correct. Because if they aren't, then they got nobody to blame but themselves. I am going to add a /call check bind inside of this loop as well. I don't feel like I need to, but I'm going to because it's a loop that can go forever. Let's see, if type.equal trade skill or the type is equal to trade skills, then set the type of parcel to trade skills and then /call, is it container or containers? Containers with an S. And I want it to send that type of parcel and recipient. Right, so that means that I'm going to have to do something with those two. So if I go back up to containers, then I need string type, string recipient. All right, so the type is going to go here, and that will be type, just like that. See, this is the variable, and then the outside one is the entire TLO call. All right, so if the type matches, then I need to verify it's not on the exclusion list. Otherwise, if it isn't on the exclusion list, then I need to item notify the item, and then I need to call send items, and then to whom is the recipient. Okay, I don't need to, but for the sake of good practice, anytime you pass a string to another subroutine, you should always enclose it in quote. So I checked to see if it was trade skill or trade skills, but I never checked to see if it was collectible or EQUAL type dot equal collectable in case somebody misspells it. Been known to happen. Then var set type of parcel collectible, right? So on for these, we're checking this to see if it has a length, and if it doesn't, we're going to tell them they messed up and what the valid options are. And for the recipient, um, we're also doing the same things. All right, but we never leave and it still tries to process the information, and we don't want it to do that. So once we get to a point where we no longer want it to continue checking this subroutine, we're going to return out. So slash return, and we're not going to do anything. Okay, so the only time that should run is if we call the check to bind and it finds that I have issued a command that requests this bind parcel command by saying slash send items and then my name, right? And I've tried valid. I've already removed my name from the macro, so I know that's good. I've changed this to type. Now we just need to verify that that works as a command. So Mac, well, let's make sure end. So yeah, Mac parcel. Right, so it by default is going to open the merchant. I don't want it to do that bit until I call that command. So we're going to have to move some stuff from the looks of it. All right. So I wanted to check stuff. I don't need to make sure HUD's up. I don't need to check this stuff until I issue the command, right? So after I check those two things, then I can do these. Vendor, where did I declare a vendor? Vendor was an outer variable, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, so one thing we're going to have to do is check to see if there is a vendor defined, and if not, maybe see if there's a way we can find one, maybe with the easy find option. So we've saved that. Let's Mac parcel. The current macro has ended. Was it already running? Yeah, it was Mac parcel. Okay, so it should be running now. So send item. Is that my command? Items with an S. Trade skill is not valid. I failed to provide any parameters. The options are blah. Slash send items, trade skills, super warrior. I did actually send items, trade skills. Alright, so what am I doing wrong here? So I'm checking, and it's saying that type has no length. But I'm passing it a parameter. Slash send items. Let's clear that because it's starting to get all cluttered. Alright, so it says I failed to provide any parameters. The options are blah. So my bind is not working as I expect it to for some reason. I have definitely saved it. Let's try declaring the type. Perhaps. And we're going to need to end. And then we're going to clear the window, and then we're going to say slash send items. We're going to use our whole command there. Let's do some debug statements. So type is type, recipient is recipient. Go ahead and end slash, why am I clicking on things? Slash Mac parcel slash clear, MQ clear rather, and then slash Mac parcel again. Did I already have it running? I did. And then slash send items. Hi. They were saying null is type, blank is recipient. I know I didn't send anything there, so hi, hello. So for some reason, hello is receiving the information, but type is not. What is up with that? What am I doing wrong here? Can I not use type? Maybe? There's a lot of variable calls to replace if that's the case. Let's just find copies of type and replace it with types. In fact, there, and find type count. So there's 16 matches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bet you 9, 10. Okay, we're gonna just have to do this the manual way, I guess. Actually, all right, let's try that. Oh, I'm breaking shit now. Okay, so at least it says hi as types, hello as recipient. It says unparsable and calculation on line 151. Right, so scroll down here to 151, see where I jacked up. Ah, I am missing a bracket. Interesting. Alright, so close that. Got that sorted. So, I don't want to cause that to happen again. So, in the macro, mac parcel, clear the window so I can see any new information. Send items, hi and hello. Oh, well, obviously, no such item member null. The fuck is going on there? So I'm doing this as a command and now it's tripping balls on me. Alright, so no such item member null, and that is on line 48. None of this shit was broken 5 minutes ago. Did I put a space in there or something? Type. Okay, so looks like it's still an issue with types. It should be types. And find just the word type. Count as 0 matches. Okay, so maybe type is a reserved phrase there. And slash mac parcel slash clear. So then we can send items hello and hi. And I'm breaking stuff still. P. That is returning a P. So that's calling containers. Containers is getting here and it's saying the item, that location. And slash echo that. Well, I was thinking that it would be case sensitive for the type, but I have it all lowercase, so I figured I was getting around that. So we have the types here. Let's change this, make it a 1, and then we'll make this a 23. So that'll be the first item in the first bag. But I need to open the bag first. And types is supposed to be getting passed as trade skill. Oh, you know what? It's not doing shit because I'm not passing it a correct parameter, which is weird because I said hello as types and hi as recipient. Then it's supposed to process it, so I need to error check there as well. For that bit at least I understand why it's passing it a null, because I am sending type of parcel, but if it doesn't equal either trade skill or collectible, I'm not setting it to anything. So else echo you didn't select a valid parameter for the type of parcels Please choose either collectibles or trade skills, i.e. / send items, trade skills, super warrior. So let's try it again. And I accidentally right clicked on this guy again. So end Mac parcel and then send items, hi and hello. And it still manages to keep on going. It shouldn't be doing that. So, and it's saying it failed to parse the if condition piece of rat fur. Oh my goodness. Well, at least it's not null anymore, right? Oh my goodness. This should be catching that. So if the types is equal to trade skill or it's equal to trade skills, then you want to set it as trade skills with the capital T. Otherwise, if types is equal to collectible or an incorrectly spelled collectible, then set it to collectible. Otherwise, not fucking returning. That's my issue. I see. Duh. Okay. I'm gonna get it all together here in a minute, I promise. It should not be opening that window, should it? Yeah, okay, so it does still open the window, it just doesn't do anything. So that check needs to be before it does all this window opening crap. Alright, so this, including its declare, needs to go before that. Oh, goodness. I don't think my wife could make the TV any louder. Send item trade skill super warrior. Okay, so now we're going to try it the right way and see what happens. Send items, trade skills. Alright, so it's sending stuff now. And piece of rat fur and a bat wing were on the exclusion list, so there's a list of items that you can add to not send. And that works for that bit. If there's anybody that wants to try it out for me for the collectibles, I'm down with throwing you the code and letting you give it a shot. I'm currently on test server. Of course, I'm on the Red Guides Discord, so you can always pick me up there. But yeah, seems to be doing what I want it to. But what's the deal here? I must have accidentally lost the focus of the window by clicking on stuff. Retrieve all. Done. / send items. Oh, it's still trying to type in boxes and shit. Look at me fucking stuff up. I think it was because I was clicked into the wrong box. Yeah, so that's something you're going to have to watch out for. don't know if I can really do anything about that. Is there a way to see if a block is selected? Like a text box, MW send to edit. So we need a slash echo window merchant window dot child MW. No, not send button. Send to edit dot selected. I know there's a damn selected option in the notify and the window commands. Data type window, find. That's not what I want. About focus, maybe? No. I don't really know how I'm going to handle that one, but for now, I have a working send all collectibles, send all trade skills. The collectibles bit's kind of assumed to be working. Alright. So I believe that covers the entire creation of what I'm currently going to be using for this macro. And I'm going to send this out to Red Queen on the Red Gods Discord, see if she likes it, if she wants to make recommendations for improvements. If y'all want to make recommendations for improvements, y'all can hit me up in the chat, either here, tube, or on the Red Gods Discord as well. So let me know what you think. It's going to be posted as a resource as well, so everyone will have access to it to give it a shot. All right, thank y'all for joining me.